This was epic. Let's take a listen.
It's really come to something when, having spent a lifetime myself fighting against NATO and American wars, it's the Americans that are trying to stop the war, and Piers Morgan, Boris Johnson and Keir Starmer who are trying to keep it going.
I don't want to keep it going.
You've got a lot of Ukrainian,
I don't want to keep it going.
You've got a lot of Ukrainian blood on your hands. You have lied about this war from the beginning.
Actually, Vladimir...
You have lied about the origin of this war, about the duration of this war, about the course of this war, and now having caused you and your war party the death of 1 million Ukrainians while claiming to love Ukrainians, you're now calling for British lives to be lost.
What a load of absolute bullshit.
That constitutes close to a war crime. You're going to regret it when very soon Zelensky is sitting in a beachfront villa somewhere counting his ill-gotten gains, and all the secrets of the rampant corruption between the Democrats and the Zelensky regime begin to tumble out of the cupboard. This war did not begin 3 years ago. You very well know that it began in 2014. You very well know that it began with a coup against the elected president of Ukraine, backed by Victoria Nuland and the administration at that time, and supported by you. You very well know that the criminalization of the Russian language, which followed hard on the heels of that coup, was the proximate reason for an uprising in the east of the country amongst Russian-speaking, ethnically Russian people. You very well know that Zelensky and his predecessor rained down shot and shell on the people of East Ukraine for 8 years before Putin intervened in 2022, and that 14,000 people, most of them women and children, were killed in that onslaught. You very well know that Zelensky was preparing for a final onslaught, a final solution. And while I'm on that subject, you're always telling us how much you love the Jews. You're supporting a regime which puts up statues to Nazi collaborators, to generals of the Galician division of the SS. You
Zelensky is Jewish, you know that, right? You know Zelensky's Jewish, right? Do you?
But that's like saying there's no racism in America because Obama.
So so you're calling the Jewish leader of Ukraine a Nazi. Is that your position?
That's like saying there's no racism in America because Obama was briefly the president of the country. The entire western part of Ukraine played a decisive role in the mass murder of Jews and Poles and others in the Second World War. And now they are heroizing the heroes of the SS. Why doesn't Donald Trump agree with you?
Because he's wrong.
Really? Hey, Donald Trump is wrong? Like, he agreed. I'm not supporter of Donald Trump. I'm not anti-Donald Trump. I don't care. I just present the fact. What he's saying, Piers Morgan, he's a fervent supporter of Donald Trump. He agrees with Donald Trump on everything, especially when it comes to Gaza, especially when it comes to Palestine-Israel issue. Yeah, this is exactly what we should be doing in Gaza. He supported him for a very long time. Now, all of a sudden, his narrative doesn't fit with Donald Trump. Oh, I'm not a supporter of Donald Trump. Oh, I have a problem. I don't agree with him. Really, Piers Morgan? I mean, this guy changes his color faster than we change our shoes.
You know, you have been up his ass all of these 2 decades.
Really?
You've kissed his feet.
Really?
You've licked his boots. You've fawned upon him.
Really?
You have been his super fan. And now, on this fundamental question of our age, he's entirely wrong. Everybody watching knows you are Trump's biggest ass
I like
kisser.
him.
Everybody watching
I like
knows
Donald
that.
Trump.
I know you like him.
I like
don't
him.
Like him.
And on
you
many
like
things,
him.
on many things, I like him. And on many things,
fundamental question.
Let me finish.
The biggest question in politics in the world today, he's got it completely wrong.
No, it's little.
Ukraine was the most corrupt country.
More corrupt than Russia? Or corrupt the Russia?
It was designated by the Economist,
What about Putin?
by the FT,
What about Putin?
by everyone who knows
What
about
about
these
Putin?
things. I'll tell you what, your mate, Donald Trump, is going to open every book, every drawer, every filing cabinet, and you're going to be embarrassed.
So what I don't understand from Piers Morgan is this: he supports what Israel is doing in Gaza, and he is always against any resistance being put up against that genocide of the Zionists against the people of Gaza. So no problem with that. That's his view. But then he flips when it comes to Russia and Ukraine, and he says, okay, you know what? Ukraine, they have the right to defend themselves. Russia is pure evil. They have absolutely no reason to invade Ukraine. They had absolutely no reason to kill those people, those armies, those militaries in Ukraine. I mean, this guy, he is flip-flopping so much, and he gets called out, and then he comes back to make another show, gets humiliated another time, and he keeps on doing this. And this is why perhaps his rating right now, I'm talking about Piers Morgan, his rating is so low that he hardly gets any views. The only time he gets views is when he brings a pro-Palestinian activist or a pro-Palestinian individual, for example Bassem Youssef, and he teaches Piers Morgan a good lesson for 1 hour, 1.5 hours. He gives him some good lectures, and that kind of video gets really, really viral. Other than that, nobody today watching Piers Morgan, simply because this guy is flip-flopping all the time. I mean, George Galloway, he was so right and on point on about everything he said about Piers Morgan. He is a Zionist puppet. He goes with the military-industrial complex. He goes with the war machines. And then at the same time, when it comes to defending people who are oppressed, people who are facing injustice, he takes sides depending on what fits his narrative, depending on whether it will affect his paycheck or not. Therefore, when we see him talking about victim in the war, women and children, he is very, very subjective. It is very, very subjective. For Piers Morgan, if Israel is killing women and children, the interview he gave with Tucker Carlson, this is he said, that if women and children are getting killed, it is no problem. There's nothing evil to it. But at the same time, when you have Russia doing it against the people of Ukraine, oh, there is a big problem. I mean, this is evil. How could they do this? So again, this guy is flip-flopping, and this guy cannot be trusted, and so pathetic for him that he's trying to run a show, but every time people are making show from his show. He has become the clown in the entire show, and that's exactly what he's doing. Unfortunately, this guy is so pathetic. I mean, unbelievable. But George Galloway, he called him out the way he should be. Thank you guys for joining. See you in the next video.